Hello everybody. In the next several episodes here in Premiere Pro, I'm going to show you the 4 major windows that appear in Premiere Pro. And these windows show under the regular editing mode. When you're going to be doing regular editing, it brings up these 4 windows. If you click on something else like Assembly, you'll end up having 3 windows. Technically you have 4, but it's sharing space up here to give you a little bit more space with your project windows. So I'm going to go on to editing here and we'll show you the 4 major areas that you're going to be working out of. First of all, I will start with the shortcuts. The shortcuts include on your keyboard, if you hold down Shift and hit on the top of the keyboard, not on the numpad, but on the very top of your keyboard, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Watch what happens. You'll see this little highlighted area right here, this blue area highlighting this window. Shift 1 will highlight the first one we're going to be talking about, which is your project area. Shift 2 will highlight the second area I'll talk about in the next episode, which is your source window. Shift 3 will jump to your timeline or to your sequence. And Shift 4 will jump to your program monitor. So once again, holding down Shift, hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, it will jump to these windows, it will highlight them, and these are now going to be the window that you're primarily working out of. So I'm going to start off with Shift 1, which jumps to my project window here. One other quick shortcut that you got to know about is the tilde key, which is right above your tab key on the left-hand side of your keyboard. It's under the escape key and above the tab key, the little squiggly line up there. If you move your mouse over any of these windows here and you hit the tilde key, it makes that window pop up full screen. So right now my project window just popped up full screen. If I hit tilde again, it goes away. If I move it over my source monitor, let me load a clip in there. If I move it over my source monitor and hit tilde, it makes that window go full screen. If I move over my program window, hit tilde, it makes that go full screen. And same if I go over my timeline and hit tilde, it will go full screen. And if I hit tilde again, it collapses back down to normal. So right now, let's talk about the project window. I'm going to hit tilde over the project window, and it goes full screen, and we can see what this window is being used for. This space is often shared with these other tabs you have here, your media browser, your library, your info, effects, markers, and history. These things we'll go through in later episodes. You'll see these kind of pop up as we're going through other episodes, but right now I want to concentrate on the project tab or the project window. Now the project window is where you import media and you organize media. You notice I have folders in here. If you can open up these folders and it will show your media inside of folders. You also have generators in here and you have timelines. You can create as many timelines as you want in here and put footage and you'll notice that these things pop up as different types of icons here. Right now I'm just going through the basics of these. In an upcoming episode, I'm going to show you how to do more organization. But let's go through the things that we see here. First of all, up here at the top, you see this little thumbnail. Sometimes this won't be showing, and I'll show you why. These little 3 lines represent a menu that will pop down. If you see that on any tab, that means that you click on that, and it will pop down a menu. So right here, I'm going to pop down this menu. Click on that and pop down the menu there, and you'll see some options here. This little area here is called the preview area, and if it's not showing up, it's because your preview area is not checked. So if I click that off and it's not showing, that's why it's not showing. So if we want to show that, I'm going to click on this and hit preview area. And what this does is it shows the attributes and a thumbnail of any media or timeline that you select in your project area. If I select a media file here, this is a movie file here. You got a little film strip. It pops up a thumbnail and it pops up the information. It shows the name, it shows your resolution, it shows your frame rate and a few other little items here showing the basic attributes of your media. And it will do the same on a timeline. It shows the information right there, which is important if you need to know the settings of a clip or a timeline. Which is important if you need to know the settings of a timeline, the resolution of a clip, the frame rate, and also the information of the audio belonging to that clip if there's audio belonging to the clip. Down below here you have your project name, and up here you have the project name of the project that you're working with. Down here you've got a little search engine that you can find specific media. If you've renamed media a certain name, just call that clip 1 really quick, and let's show you how to search that. Now you can click up in the search engine here. If you type in clip 1, it'll narrow it down to all the media that has the name clip 1 in it, showing the folder that it's located in, and there it is right there. Just make sure when you're starting to search for other media, if I arrow this down, now nothing is showing. It's because I still have this name in the search engine up here. You got to hit X and clear that, and then your media pops back up. A little shortcut on this is if you're looking for all the timelines in your project, if they're inside of different folders and you can't remember where they are, you can click in the search engine and type in sequence. And then sequence will just show all of your sequences and show you where they're located inside of your project. And now it's showing the sequences and nothing else. All right, down here at the bottom left-hand corner of our project window, you have a few different things. You've got this little lock here, and this little lock is something they've added in the last couple editions. If you're working on a team project and you want to lock it, or if you want to lock it just so other people can't change it, you can hit this little lock right there, and it will ask you if you want to save the changes, then it will lock the project so people can't change it. I'm going to cancel that there. That's really helpful when you're working on a team project. The other couple items that we have down here is your list view and your icon view. And then you also have a zoom to change icon size. Let's show those really quick. So if you grab this little zoom tool here and you drag it to the right or the left, it increases the size of your icons so you can see them a little bit better, or you can zoom that back down to minimize it. But this is pretty important with your list view and your icon view. Usually I keep my project window in list view, and I'll keep my folders in icon view. If you click icon view, you'll notice everything turns into basically these icons or thumbnails here. The list shows it in this organization based on what you click it up here. If you want to, the default is to arrange your folders and your media by name, but you can do it also by frame rate and time code and resolution and a whole bunch of different settings there. But right now, by default, they just have it arranged by name, so it's in alphabetical order. But if you want to open up one of these folders, all you have to do is simply double click on it. And if you double click on it, it opens it up in a separate tab. To close those, all you have to do is hit Control or Command on a Mac, W, and it closes those tabs that you have open. And click back on the project here. If you want a free-floating window, you can hold down the Option key and double-click on your folder, and it opens it up as this free-floating window. I usually like it to open up in a different tab so I don't have windows floating over my project. So I'm just going to simply double-click on it and open it up in a separate tab. Now that I've got one of my cards here opened up in a separate tab, you see I got my project window in list view, and I've got one of my media folders opened up in this separate tab. If I go down and click on icon view, it brings up thumbnails of my media in that folder. Now I can go down here and grab the slider and increase the thumbnail size. As I move my mouse over these, you have a live scrub. I'm not clicking, I'm just hovering over and scrubbing and moving through my media here. Now watch as I move my mouse over and I scroll to the right. After I take my mouse off, say I like that thumbnail right there, but after I move my mouse off, watch what happens. It goes back to the very beginning frame of my clip. So if I want to change that thumbnail there, all I have to do is as I'm moving through, let's say I like this shot right here as what they call my poster frame or my thumbnail frame. You hold down Shift and hit P for poster frame. And now I move my mouse off and it has created a new thumbnail still for that image. So if we want to find something else, say we don't like this thumbnail right here, say I want to get a better thumbnail here that more accurately represents this shot. Once again, I hover and scrub over to where I want it, hit Shift P, move my mouse off, and now that is set as my poster frame. Because oftentimes if you're shooting a movie and the first frame is a slate, you might not want the slate, you might want something like this showing what your first poster frame is. Now the way that orders these in here goes from basically the top and go left to right, and after it finishes this column, it goes down here and moves across and so on. And that is represented in the way you can select media. If I clip on a clip here and select, and I want to select several clips, I can move down and hold down Shift and click on this last one here, and it selects a range of clips in between. Same if I click on the first one, I move down here and click on Shift, hold down Shift and click on this one, it selects this whole range of clips from here to here. So it goes from left to right, then it pops down, goes from left to right, and so on. And that's the way those clips are organized. Down here shows how these things are sorted inside of this bin. If I click on this, right now it has user order. It's an order that I've basically been using these in, which is kind of weird. I wish the default view was this list view sort. So when we go under our project window, and we have these items sorted from alphabetical order right here on my name. That's my list sort. If I go into here, I tell that to duplicate the way it's sorted in my list. I'm going to click on Sort Icons and go down and say List View Sort. I wish this was the default. Now it is basically in alphabetical order. That is the same order that you see in my list view in my project window. Kind of weird that they do that, but that's how you organize it. So like I said, I usually like my project window in list view, and then I like my media windows, my little bins here, what they call bins or folders, in thumbnail view. As we move to the bottom right of the window over here, you have a few icons. You have Automate to Sequence, a Find tool, a new bin, new item icon, and a trash can. Let's go through each one of these here. First of all, Automate to Sequence, we'll have a separate episode on this, or if you have a range of clips selected, you can hit Automate to Sequence and it'll put them in order on your timeline. This is really helpful if you have a whole bunch of still images or a whole bunch of DPX files. The Automate to Sequence will drop a whole bunch of those clips to your timeline. It's pretty helpful. Down here you've got Find. You click on Find, it will bring up a little more customized find window, which you can search clips by the color of their label. You can search clips by names and a whole bunch of different other options there. And I will have a separate episode on this as well in the future. Down here you've got New Bin. New Bin is basically a new folder. They call it a bin. That comes from the old film language of when they used to cut shots up and hang them inside of a bin. And if you Google film bin, it'll bring up one of these old bins here, and then you can see the film organization that takes place inside of these bins to organize shots. So that's where that name comes from, when they used to edit on the old Moviolas. But if you click on that, it will create a new folder for you, and it's all highlighted, ready for you to name it. So if you have a new card, you can name it Card 3. I've gotten in the habit of calling them reels, which is it's called in film. Once again, a reference to film. But Card 3, and now I can drag media or anything else I want to into these folders. I'm going to delete that. Down here you've got your new item icon. The new item icon has several things in it. This is where you create new sequences. This is also where you create new what they call generators, like adjustment levels, black video clips, color mats, and other things, and other types of video clips and generators. And these things we will go through in detail on that in later episodes. But that's a quick layout of what your project window is used for. In the next episode, I'm going to be going through Shift 2, which is your source monitor.